Clean Shot, IAE Controversy with Craig Burton. Hey folks, Craig Burton here. As hard as it may be to believe, yet another year has come and gone. Sure, you may be a bit longer in the tooth for it, but on the bright side, it does mean it's time for another intergalactic aerospace expo to get underway. Clean Shot, in its ongoing efforts to provide you haulers out there with only the latest and greatest news and info, has graciously sent Skinny and me down here to Erie City to report from the expo floor itself. I'll go ahead and say it. This may be my absolute favorite week of the year, out of all the standard 52 that I could choose from. Now, Skinny's partial to the upcoming Hyperion rally, but he promises me the IAE comes a close second. And although we only have a few days in the 2946 show, it's proving to be a doozy thus far. I spent most of Sunday in the Component Pavilion, deep diving with a bunch of the manufacturers on display there. Damn near closed the place down too. I spent a good hour with some of the Nogs from ARC Corp, going over their new ARC Turbo 675 engine, and it is quite the vision. They seem to have completely mastered the inline setup they introduced last year, and have taken on a whole new level of polish. We'll be doing a full breakdown on all the goodies with Skinny later in the episode, including a look inside the high-tech radar experience simulator that our sponsor, Chimera, has set up at their booth. Remember, with a Chimera radar close at hand, you can stay on top of everything that's around you. For now, let's go ahead and take a look at today's Trouble Zone. It happens every year, folks. Ship collectors from across the Empire load up their first-gen Cutlass, or limited edition M50, into cargo ships so they can fly them to the Kyle system without scratching the original paint job. And every year, outlaw packs target those transport ships. If you have been contracted to haul expensive ships to or from the IAE, might be worth springing for some additional safety on the journey. This year, I'm hearing reports of a particularly active and aggressive outlaw pack in the Magnus system. Once they have a ship in their sights, they swarm it with dragonflies and snub fighters to keep the transport ship from jumping to safety while they get an EMP up close and knock the vessel offline. Not much else is known about the crew that's pulling these jobs, except they're smart enough not to camp in one location. Most reports have spotted them roaming the sectors around the system's large jump points, so exercise extreme caution when passing through those areas, even if you aren't transporting ships. Of course, Kyle isn't safe from its own bit of drama. Drake Interplanetary caught a bit of flack yesterday when they decided to feature some, let's say, performers at their booth. No stranger to controversy, it seems this most recent brazen display may have been one step too far, as people around the Empire have been voicing their objections loudly on the spectrum. Of course, there are just as many who are defending Drake's right to put on a bit of a show. The IAE have already weighed in on it, fining Drake for violating the Expo's policies, but I wanted to give Drake the chance to speak to the controversy directly themselves. I'd like to welcome to Clean Shot Horatio Prizzler, Senior Public Relations Manager for Drake Interplanetary.
Thank you so much for having me on, Craig. We're all big fans of Clean Shot over at Drake Interplanetary. A lot of good info. Good fun, too.
Mighty kind of you. Sounds like you've had a busy few days. Not only have you been on the show floor pounding the pavement to get word out about Drake's 2947 lineup, but now you're neck deep in a controversy over some of your booths violating the IAE's performer policy.
Let me start by clearing the record. Drake Interplanetary booths in no way violated the IAE's policy. This is just all a giant misunderstanding that has been blown out of proportion by certain interests that, let's say, prefer unwarranted negative connotations stick to Drake.
Explain to our audience what this misunderstanding is, cause reports from IAE officials are that a fine has been levied against Drake for hiring scantily clad women to promote your products. That appears to be a clear violation of the IAE code meant to promote a comfortable and welcoming environment, and keep the focus on the ships, not booth staff.
To start, the accusation that Drake has hired so-called booth babes is ridiculous.
Let me stop you there. I walked by a number of your booths yesterday, and did see women dressed in suggestive outfits, dancing about and beckoning me over. They have not been allowed back out on the show floor today while the issue gets sorted out. From Drake's perspective, how is this not a violation of the IAE's policy?
Those lovely individuals were not hired by Drake to promote our products, which we can all agree would be a clear violation. No, they were part of a cross-promotion with Cynosure Entertainment to promote the new vid, Shadow Siren. These performers were dressed as characters from the show, which follows an all-female caterpillar crew that may be the last, best hope to save humankind from the Vandal. The vid also prominently features a number of great Drake ships besides the Caterpillar. The first episode has this fantastic bit about the Herald that... well, probably best not to spoil it for everyone. Anyway, if you are intrigued by what you saw at our booths, then look for Shadow Siren to hit the Spectrum, December 1st, SET.
Seems like a bit of a slippery slope if you ask me.
Slippery slopes aren't against the rules.
Now, I'm not one to judge here, but level with me. This isn't the first time Drake skirted the line to promote something.
Drake's main focus has been and always will be on making affordable and effective ships. Because it doesn't matter how people hear about your ships if they're crap and nobody wants to fly them.
CleanShot needs to take a quick break. When we're back, I'll take you on a tour of the hangar housing the Exotic Ship Manufacturers Council, so you can see some of the cutting-edge tech on display from the manufacturers that don't muster the same level of attention as Drake. Plus, Skinny breaks down some of the great gear he's been able to get his hands on while here. All that and more when CleanShot returns to the 2946 Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. This is Captain Bayne. Thank you for taking the time to listen to SCLoreCast's telling of CleanShot, the IAE controversy. This official Star Citizen lore can be found within the Spectrum Dispatch section of the Roberts Space Industries website. A big thank you to Curtis Hulbert for helping me put together this episode on such short notice. He voiced Mr. Prizzler, the Senior Public Relations Manager for Drake Interplanetary, and it was fun working his lines into my attempt to create the ambience of an expo for this bit of lore. While these smaller, isolated bits of lore are not as dramatic as some of the more elaborate stories found within the Spectrum Dispatch, they do a great job of fleshing out the Star Citizen universe and providing more texture and context to the game world. And for me and my team, it's a good opportunity for a change of pace, and a little bit of fun outside of the normally serious episodes found within the series, like Orbital Supermax or the Tales of Kid Crimson. In case this is your first time hearing a Lorecast, my team and I take the official and unofficial stories surrounding the game and try to bring them to life. We've got over 15 voice actors from all over the world, and a sizable library of sound effects and music that I mix together in an attempt to create a more dynamic listening experience. If you enjoyed this episode and you're feeling generous, please share this content somewhere. If you want to hear more, you can find all our work at SCLoreCast.com or on YouTube. Just look for SCLoreCast. As always, we appreciate feedback, so if you hear something that sounded off, or generally have a suggestion about how we could do something better, please let us know. In any case, I hope you're enjoying what we have so far. We are looking forward to bringing you much more. Thank you for listening, and as always, to all you Star Citizen fans out there, we'll see you in the verse.